Hello. Okay, next tutorial. This time I did a super severe frostbitten makeup. This video is also part of my 30 minutes effects series where I teach you all how to do a makeup within 30 minutes or less. These videos are also there to teach you all how to do some simple effects that you can translate to other makeups like bruising and broken capillaries, that kind of stuff. It's just a little video to teach some fun effects. Over the years on this channel, a lot of people have requested that I do some form of frostbitten makeup, so I'll flash a few people's names on the screen now. These were the first few people that requested that I do this type of makeup. It was also specially requested by my friend Sam, so thank you, Sam. So if you'd like to know how to do this particular makeup, stay tuned. Okie dokie, so to get started, I'm going to take a sponge, very small sponge, and some liquid latex in a Joker glass, that's vital. And I'm only going to be using a teeny tiny bit of latex for this. So I'm going to take the edge of my sponge, dip it in the latex, and I'm going to apply it to the thinnest areas of my face. So I'm going to be doing it on the edges of my cheekbones, maybe my forehead, my chin, and most definitely the tip of my nose. Basically the less fatty areas of your face that would get damaged by frostbite first. So I'm just going to stipple the latex in a very sporadic motion. We don't want like a circle or a square of latex, we just want like a rough patch with feathered edges. And we're doing this before we apply the foundation just so the latex adheres better. So just as it's drying, you can see where I've gone. So just right at the peaks of my cheekbones, in random areas on my forehead and part of my chin, and also the tip of my nose. And as you can see, just before it dries, there is no abrupt edge, it's feathered off. So I'm just going to let that all dry, and then I'll go over it again with one more layer of latex, then let that dry, and then we can go on to the next step. Then, taking a pair of tweezers, I'm going to start pulling away at the latex in random areas really lightly to make a few little tiny holes just to give the illusion of blisters. When you do this, be extra careful. I'm using a pair of tweezers that are quite old for me, so they're quite dull. You could also use a dulled down toothpick, just be really careful not to nip your skin. You could also use your fingernails, to be honest, to make holes, but this kind of thing needs precision. You need little tiny holes as opposed to big ones, but it's up to you guys. So I'm just going to start doing that in random areas. Just be careful you don't lift away at the edge of the latex, otherwise you'll end up with a flap of skin and that's just weird. So when you're done, it should look something like this. So I've gone for a very asymmetrical look, so I've had the nose going off to one side and I've got various different shapes on each side of the face to make it look a little bit more natural. I've squeezed a few of the areas to make the skin pucker and stick to itself. It just adds an extra layer of texture to the skin. So then I can work on the foundation. So obviously the overall tone I'm going to be going for is quite pale, and I'm not going to be using a liquid foundation because I really need this to blend out and look as natural as possible. So the cream I'm going to be using is by Kryolan. This is from their high definition palette. Obviously you don't have to have this one, it's just whichever cream you think looks best against your own skin tone. And I'm going to be using one of the paler colours from this palette, and this is their number 100. So it's just quite a few shades lighter than my own skin tone. So I'm going to apply that quite lightly with a fairly firm fluffy brush all over the face and neck. Just make sure that when you apply it you dab it on rather than stroke it away because you don't want to lift the edges up of the latex. Then, once that's all covered, I can take some Ben Nye setting powder in super white and a powder puff and just press that all over the face, neck and ears. I probably should mention I also applied the cream onto my ears as well. And once you've applied all that, just brush off the excess. So there we are. I'm not going to contour the face at all because we want the face to look relatively puffy. That tends to be the case whenever you get like high levels of frostbite due to the levels of toxicity released in the blood from the dead skin cells. It's going to be one of those subtle effects, but hopefully effective. I can then take a Kryolan bruise wheel and start working on the bruising of the face. So ignoring the cuts and blisters for a sec, the actual bruising itself isn't going to be that harsh. I just want there to be some light bruising around the eyes. So I'm going to start off by using the dark red from this palette, and I'm going to brush that around the eyes, sweeping the colour away. I can then take the dark blue, almost black colour from that palette, and being a bit more harsh with it, go in the hollows of the eye, just sweeping the colour away. Then, taking quite a large fluffy brush, I'm going to dip that in the dark red, and I'm going to start applying that all around the face, but mostly more concentrated around the blisters. I'm then going to take the dark blue again and go around the edges of the blisters. I'm also going to apply that dark blue to the centre of my lips and blend them out. Then going back to the red from this palette, I'm going to apply it in the centre of each of the wounds. I'm then going to take a really sharp angle brush and the red cream, and I'm going to take hardly any of the colour whatsoever. I'm just taking some of the excess off now, and I'm going to do a few broken capillaries just around the cheeks, just going away from the wounds. So I'm just going to squiggle the line out, just adding a few light veins. Then I'm going to add some fake blood, so I'm going to use my favourite fake blood, which is Superstar, but I'm going to use the most tiny amount possible. You really do not want to use too much of this stuff. I'm talking like a pea size of fake blood for the entire makeup. My reason for that is when you get this kind of severe frostbite, obviously this is an extreme case, but you know what I mean. But when you get that kind of severe frostbite, your blood can form clots, which decreases the flow of blood. So we only want a tiny amount. So I'm just going to apply that on all of the open wound areas and around the edges lightly. Next, I'm going to take a Stargazer mascara in white, and I'm going to apply that really lightly to my eyelashes and my eyebrows. So there we are. I did also apply it to my beard as well. I probably should point that out, but I mean, it's kind of specific to me, but it is a good point to mention if you do have facial hair, you would apply the same mascara to that as well. So the next step, which is the super fun part, is going to be using some fake snow. Now usually when I would do this type of makeup, I wouldn't use fake snow, I would use something like sugar, just to make things look a little bit more subtle, but as this makeup is a little bit full on, innit? I'm going to be using some actual fake snow. So I got my fake snow off of Amazon, but you can get it from most party shops to be honest. The other alternative, bit weird, but bear with me, is you could actually use, say, nappies if you've got any diapers lying around. I'm not sure why you would, but here we are. This is one of those little tricks that's nice to learn if you're in a pinch and you need stuff to hand. But if you've got a nappy to hand, you can take the nappy, cut it in half, and take out the sodium polyacrylate, which is the absorbent material that actually comes in them. You take that powder, add water to it, and you get instant snow. It's fabulous. Granted, for this look, you wouldn't want to really get it too close to your eyes or your nose or anywhere you'd breathe it in, but it is something you could use, say, for a costume or to adorn around your face. But it's just one of those little things that's nice to learn. So to apply my fake snow, I'm going to take some Spirit Gum and a disposable mascara wand, and I'm going to apply the Spirit Gum really lightly into my eyebrows. I'm also going to apply some of it to my beard as well, and I'm going to dot some of the Spirit Gum around a few of the blisters. I can then let it go slightly tacky and then press in some of the fake snow. Okie dokie, snowy. So then I'm just going to do a few little extra touches. So I'm going to take some of the red cream again, and I'm just going to go lightly underneath, directly underneath my eyes, just because I think it needs to look a little bit more sore. I'm also going to take some of the red and some of the dark black and just apply that to my earlobes, just a little tiny bit, because I think they need to look a little bit more obviously frostbitten, and I think it would be these parts and the tops that go first. Okie dokie, so as I said, I went on the tops of my ears as well. I just think it adds to the overall look. I also applied a tiny bit of fake snow underneath my eyes using some lip gloss, because I don't really want to put Spirit Gum that close to my eyes. I'm also just going to add one last final effect, which is I'm going to take my sharp angle brush again and the red cream, and I'm just going to add some furrows in because I need the skin to look really dried out. So I'm just going to trace over my own brow furrow lines and taper the lines out really lightly so that when I relax my face, it will just add a little bit more character to the look, just so it doesn't look so clean, because we want some expression lines in there. So then I think the only thing left to do really is pop on a costume and we'll see what we've got. And there we go. That's my look, officially complete. So as you can see, I finished off the look by popping on 2 black gloves and a really thick winter coat. Yay! It just helps add to the overall tone, doesn't it? But yeah, so that's my makeup tutorial. I really hope you all enjoyed it. It's really fun to do this type of makeup every now and again because you end up teaching yourself little things each time you do it, because this kind of makeup helps you practice bruising and broken capillaries. It also helps you practice your blending. It's just a nice kind of makeup to play with. So, as always, if you like this tutorial, please make sure to, you know, the usual, like, comment, subscribe and all that jazz. And yeah, so until next time, bye fluffies!